Hello there. In an effort to cover every TV show in the 1970s, well, maybe not every show, I'll be reviewing every episode of The Rockford Files. And if I can find them, I may even go into the later TV movies. If you're unfamiliar with the show, The Rockford Files was created by Stephen J. Cannell and Roy Huggins. Cannell was a writer on Columbo as well as some other Universal television shows, working freelance before being hired full-time as story editor for the police drama Adam 12. The first show he created for the studio was a series called Chase, the premise being that Mitchell Ryan's Chase Reddick headed a specialist team for the LA police who dealt with crimes determined too tough for normal officers to deal with. The show only lasted one season, but Cannell would later reuse the idea of a specialist team when he created the A-Team in the early 80s. His very next show after Chase would be The Rockford Files, which he and Huggins conceived as a modern-day version of Brett Maverick. And who better to play the title character than Maverick himself, James Garner, but we'll get to him later. Roy Huggins started his career as a civil servant and then an industrial engineer before becoming a writer. His first novel, The Double Take, was adapted into the film Isle of Trouble in 1948, which he also wrote the script for, and as a result he became a contract writer for Columbia and RKO Pictures. In 1955 he moved into television when he was hired by Warner Brothers, creating Maverick for them, which was a huge hit and led to Huggins becoming the vice president of 20th Century Fox's television. In 1962 he became vice president of television at Universal, which is what led to his involvement in the co-creation of The Rockford Files. The premise of the show is that Jim Rockford was convicted of a crime and spent 5 years in San Quentin prison before being pardoned. He sets himself up as a private investigator and lives in a dilapidated motorhome near a beach in Malibu, California. He drives a Pontiac Firebird Esprit and suffers almost constant nagging from his father, Rocky, played by Noah Beery Jr., to find safer work. He is also begrudgingly assisted by Sergeant Dennis Becker of the Los Angeles Police whenever he needs help. He charges $200 a day, or around $1,200 by modern standards, plus expenses. And each show opens with Rockford receiving a message on his answer phone that usually is completely unconnected to the episode, but sometimes relates to the episode or previous episodes. Unlike most TV detectives at the time, he wears casual clothing to complement his casual attitude and can really handle high-speed pursuits, famously performing his signature J-turn in many episodes, usually because he's the one being pursued. The show also features recurring, although not regular characters, Beth Davenport, played by Gretchen Corbett, who is Rockford's attorney, and a will-they-won't-they love interest, and Angel Martin, played by Stuart Margolin, Rockford's former cellmate, who is always a hair's breadth away from going back to jail, and it's difficult to decide which one of these pair gets Jim into more trouble. A large part of the show's success comes from Garner's performance, which is just effortlessly charming and completely believable in the action set pieces, doing a lot of the stunt work himself. He was even the one who performed the Esprit's J-turns, being a car fanatic and amateur racer. Unfortunately, the physicality of the role took its toll on Garner, who suffered from arthritic knees, and he was forced to quit the show in 1979 due to the physical pain he was in. The series coming to an end in 1980. Of the 123 episodes, plus the pilot, Cannell wrote 36, the bulk of the series. With Juanita Bartlett in second place writing 34. David Chase, who would go on to create The Sopranos, also contributed 16 scripts. The directors varied more widely, but included James Coburn, Jackie Cooper, Richard Crenna, Dana Elcar, as well as cast members Stuart Margolin and Garner himself. The show also features what is, in my opinion, one of, if not the greatest, TV theme tune of all time. Written by the prolific Mike Post and Pete Carpenter, it was later released as a single that got to number 10 in the US. The show also shares several connections with Columbo, both on and off screen, which I'll talk about as they happen in the episodes. So please stay tuned for my reviews and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. Thank you. Goodbye.